didn't do it properly. So I'm going to try and do it once more and see if I can actually stomach watching this again. But we're going to go through the second part now, and we'll do any adjustments we need to do.
2.0 was a movie.
So this is new. I just added this in yesterday, or was it the day before? I think it was yesterday. Yeah, so I added in the title card. Originally, I didn't have one here, so I thought, I better make one.
In which it was a miracle it was finished at all, let alone on time. Already the task is trickier. We aren't working with 6 episodes into a movie, but 17.
Yeah, this is a constant sort of bringing back of the concept of I would make sure this is actually recording properly. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Also, it wasn't a simple transfer. We have new boards.
Yes, we were working fine. Yeah, so this is the constant sort of flashing through items. I thought it would be quite fun to do that. Luckily, someone archived all these cards online.
Also, it wasn't a simple transfer. We have new boards, new characters, new scenes. To what extent is a fully CG Ava battle possible? I thought it'd be good if we could test technical things out or experiment with how things are set up within the work. It's a messy affair.
Let me get rid of that breath.
The work. With how things are set up within the work. It's a messy affair with an erratic cut and a fast camera motion. There's a lack of time to get it exactly as they wanted at release. It's almost like they're hiding its motions in a dim tunnel, but at the very least,
I wonder here actually.
As they wanted at release. It's almost like they're hiding its motions in a dim tunnel, but at the very least we see some strong characterization from the new pilot Mary.
Yeah, I think that the animation there with the hand movement's really great. Yeah, she's kind of a contentious figure for sure, but I think there's definitely something to be said about how they approach it. It was kind of hard to find an exact thing. The most interesting thing about Mary is definitely that she enjoys being a pilot when everyone else doesn't seem to really in the same way.
There was a reason this movie almost never happened. The idea of a new pilot came directly from producer Otsuki, and while Anno didn't plan to do much with her at first, the director embraced her after the huge response at the end of the first movie. He wanted to use her as a key element to break Evangelion. It couldn't be the same if there was a new character, right? Only problem is, how do you do that? Well, with many rewrites. The first 11 were created before the premiere of 1.0, and its massive response created a rift in the crew's outlook. The original Evangelion was entirely created from my unembellished feelings and my impoverished writings, so it
I did not say that part right.
was not completed according to theory. As a result, I thought I would get other people, outsiders, to help me destroy it. Each draft was a game of equilibrium. Too much and it takes away from the main core staff. Too little and there's no point of having a new character in it to begin with. And what made it worse is Anno wanted to actually distance himself away from this new character entirely. I wanted Mary to be an outsider with myself, as well as an alien presence in the world of Ava. Because of that, I entrusted
Yeah, so this one, I'm not 100% happy with this little bit here.
a significant portion.
We had to add in this guy, then we have the quote here. I don't know if it's as clear, because usually I use this if Tsuramaki's talking, but we do have a different voice actor for Tsurumaki. So there should be that divide.
Because of that, I entrusted a significant portion to Maki. By trying to please...
Maybe actually this guy bit should actually be bigger. Let me try that out. There's been a lot of adjustment I've done in the past with this.
That I entrusted a significant portion.
I need to rotate it a bit.
To Maki. By trying to please everyone, this had turned into a bit of a mess for the director Anno here. So he
What do you want, Cat?
needed a fresh pair of eyes. Yoji Enekito was someone who had prior writing credits on the show, and his job here was not even to script it, but just to give them suggestions. Their first meeting was in 2007 in the autumn, followed by a nice little retreat to Atami.
I think originally I wanted to have an image of Atami there, but I've lost it.
I guess you could have a good time when you're figuring out all these scripty things.
I thought
So we got Joe here. We got Joe from Beyond
it was
Ghibli.
best to focus on Shinji-kun's scenes. Therefore, I rapidly cut sequences which, although famous, did not have a strong relation to the main story. However, as I did this, everyone naturally saw favourite scenes being cut, one by one, and because of this I was becoming increasingly shut out by the group. For example, Anno-san lost his favourite Misato scene.
There we go. I think it was a pretty alright reading. I had to sort of tighten it up a bit just because Joe has a very consistently slow timbre, which is a little slow for me with the pauses, so I tried to tighten it a bit so it wouldn't take up too much time. It's still 26 seconds, which is quite a while for one of these quotes.
And Aikido's response was that he had to take about 20 minutes off the film and figure out how to refine Mari as a character. Tensions grew as Tsurumaki's favourite scenes were cut, but Masayuki was able to keep it all together.
I'm here with this classic picture. I spent way too long on this picture, sort of trying to adjust the colours. I kept it quite muted. It was based on Princess Kaguya, I think, but I added Anno in separately as a sort of defined presence within them as well. Just a standing sort of figure of leadership next to Aikido begging like a pauper on the floor, showing his plans to these sages.
Together. See, they had to get it down to 120 minutes. Now you do that in a cinema perspective because you want the film to be able to play 8 times a day.
Now from what I remember, we did this cut here a lot of times, and I tried to get the best one. And here I'm kind of filling in the blanks for them. A couple of blanks. It's a pretty consistent take.
More showings, more tickets to sell. Simple as that. To do that, they had to cut a lot of the adult scenes, then kind of refocusing the whole picture towards the teenager's perspective. And Aikido's ideas were a great help in finding out ways that they could weave Mari in and out of the production. Yet the back and forth refinement of the script continued on until the beginning of 2009, and this film needed to come out in the summer, so it needed a lot of extra hands on board to actually get that to happen. But at least they had a new finale, which differentiated itself. This time it's all about Rei. Rei is like a bird in a cage who sees herself as a tool to serve. By the end of 2.0,
that's a really nice shot.
There's a value placed on her she didn't expect. To not be a disposable, beautiful fighting girl.
Yeah, there we go, there's a play.
A novel in which calls her an empty vassal, one bestowed with popularity. Rei's name in Japanese.
I think last time when I was doing this and it didn't record, we removed this a little bit, we tightened up so we have a little shot there.
Japanese is
I also adjusted
Zero.
So we got Rei, that's Rei in Japanese.
And she
Zero.
pilots Unit Zero. There are elements of her.
And we adjusted this one to little cheeky censorship there. There's been some crackdowns recently, so I'm trying to keep this video pretty clean.
That reflect that. But in this ending, it would make Rei seem...
Which is difficult here when the climax is like giant naked lady and man losing his skin.
More than just a doll.
I also kept that black there, but I thought it actually reads a lot better than having white with text, even though it's not consistent.
The Sayu, Megumi Hayashibara, said that the direction Anno gave her about Rei is that she is not emotionless, she's just unfamiliar with emotions. And 2.0 explores this concept throughout, including the elevator scene with added dialogue.
Here we see the poka poka term, warm and fuzzy they use in translation, but we're about to talk about poka poka a fair few times. Honestly, it's a very sweet scene. I don't know if I really get it across in this video or not, but there is definitely something. I mean, I don't really remember much about watching 2.0 back in the day, but in rewatching it, I think there's a lot of admiration I have for it and how it adjusts the story in a way I didn't have for 1.0. And honestly, the homeroom drama shit, which we're about to talk about, I quite like it. I like seeing these characters have fun, a little bit more warmth. It didn't last long.
While still confused with her emotions, Rei is vocal about what she feels and what her goals are. Anno had frustrations about how he handled Rei in the original show. In episode 6, after Rei smiles, he felt the character was over with, while other staff members were unfulfilled with the handling of Rei Free, that she didn't get much development at all. Anno implies it was a major reason that Tsurumaki joined the rebuild project itself.
I thought going deeply into that would be interesting, even in a science fiction-like way.
This one was quite dense because we see this little packet of editing.
As Rei
so it was trying to find little
realizes the fact.
I didn't know if I wanted to go straight into 3.0. I didn't want to quite spoil that yet, so I decided to stay back to the show.
And the significance of the fact that there has been more than one Rei before her. How, as a clone, will she achieve her independence as an individual? I wanted to develop a story like that.
That's a nice little sharp bit there. Yeah, Fox came over and we did the recording, so I got all the recordings on Monday.
Rei 2 survives, gives more room for her to potentially grow in the coming saga. The characters in the rebuilds themselves are closer to each other, especially Shinji, the quiet reassurance of a handhold, or laying next to someone in the night to avoid the sinking loneliness. 2.0 still frames itself as a retelling. Tsurumaki said there is no escape from metafiction, even if Anno doesn't agree. It's the way it repeats itself or deviates from the original.
Okay, we might actually want a bit more of this clip in there. I wonder if I can get away with that.
Doesn't agree. It's the way it repeats itself or deviates from the original. The tone becomes like...
Yeah, get a bit more of this one in there.
It's the way it repeats itself or...
Maybe we just do that.
The way it repeats itself or deviates from the original. The tone repeats itself or deviates from the original. The tone becomes like a light school comedy. The crew uses a word poka poka, meaning warmth throughout the body. Even the music has changed, continuously taking from Kari Kano in these moments. Segisu said that these pieces were to contrast between the children and adults more so, and they're bop for sure. They fit the tone, and Anno agrees as this is one of his favourite soundtracks, and it was his decision to bring it to Evangelion.
I love they brought Kari. I was pogging the fuck out every time I heard one of these Kari Kano songs, watching the actual movie.
Another piece is the trumpet piece used in the aquarium scene of Evangelion 2.0 from the C series of incidental music. I think that song also very much symbolizes the multi-rootedness of Karekano. It worked.
That was a match thing, so this is not always easy to do, but I found basically the point in which the music would merge together where it wasn't set, and then I transitioned from one, which is the actual script, the actual audio from the movie, into this one. It's pretty smooth
incidental music. I think that song also very...
Which means maybe I should actually make it a little bit quieter inherently, just because it feels like it just boosts out of nowhere.
Incidental music. I think that song also very much symbolizes the multi-rootedness of Karekano. It works pretty good to shake people off more than Eva, shaking off everything in all directions.
That was nice. That was a nice little smooth thing. I didn't even need Sugisu. Well, actually, one last thing I might need to adjust with it. I just got to check if that's... usually I like to italicize the names of them just to separate them. No, it's already italicized. Okay.
The benefits of the new scenes, and
this is probably one of the best new scenes actually. Like the way they retell this origin is much more interesting in this version, especially with
loose
the
hand
music.
While following the original series. It's both familiar and new. We see the cast that aren't as guarded, although very much still those characters we knew. Even if Asuka slips more bluntly when she shows her interest in Shinji, but then in her complete isolation she makes a decision that leads to tragedy.
When I watched the preview screening, it was the Asuka possession scene that shocked me the most. The scene was supposed to be cruel, with Asuka becoming corroded and losing her face. But the final treatment had become incredibly gentle.
Okay, I actually need to add some more quotes, so this is the final bit.
Losing her face. But the final treatment...
So let me find the quote.
Corroded and losing her face. But
we're gonna make it darker. Gonna maybe extend the shadow.
Corroded and losing her face. But the final treatment her face. But the final treatment had become incredibly gentle.
Okay, looks like there's another one here. So we move up there.
Here, I was thinking
I usually try and, every sort of comma, every full stop, that's where we go on these. I'm going to copy that so we got the structure down. Then I'm going to remove it, and then we'll refocus it, and hopefully it does fit. I might need to adjust it slightly there and reposition it.
Incredibly gentle. Here, I was thinking only of something that people would hate. Up to then, there had been a somewhat...
Up to then, there has been... Okay, so up to then, there has been somewhat... There we go. Final one. This might be done after that. That might be the last thing I need to add. Maybe it should be... I don't know. White should probably work okay. It's always difficult figuring out what... Is that readable? That's always the question.
Face. But
maybe I should add a stroke. Just a subtle one. Oh dear. Right, the stroke too. Oh, that one. Okay, if we're gonna add a stroke, we gotta do it here. That might make it a little bit of subtle stroke.
the final treatment had become
it's much readable.
Incredibly gentle. Here, I was thinking only of something that people would hate. Up to then, there had been a somewhat hoka poka.
Oh, we gotta tighten up a little bit. So
there had been a somewhat hoka poka mood.
Might wanna pull that out a bit. There we go.
Somewhat hoka poka mood. Thinking this homeroom drama is not Ava, I wanted to confront the audience with something hateful.
What we get does close the story, but you can question how...
Right, that's 8 seconds. I might need to bring that into After Effects. I wonder if I can add it on top of something I've done last time to sort of save some time and save the same sort of movement. Guess we're about to find out. Oh yeah, I think we do need... Let's get that one going. Animator. Copy that one. I do need to find Higuchi's name. I think I have it somewhere.
Homeroom drama is not Ava. I wanted to confront the audience with something hateful.
There we go. So now I need to go back to the assembly for a second, and I've got to figure out where we've got that Shinji stuff. Did I? Or was it under Higuchi? There it is. Let's reveal that. Reveal in project. If I grab both of these. And then we go back to, so we're going to move it slightly. Attach them together. Nest them. Hopefully Let's shrink it down. Ooh, maybe we move Higuchi. It's a little too close. There we go.
Wanting to confront the audience with something hateful.
What we get does close the story, but you can question how effective it is for impact.
A lot of this is now kind of more like clip selection. So we're talking about Q, going into the nature of things, the rocket punch, Kamen Rider kick.
Much of his work
Then this is about auteurship.
has kind of made it easy to
It's quite a difficult thing to write, and I think maybe it's a little underwritten.
case. And Anno is kind of called out mostly about winging it and improv.
Yeah, so thoughts about auteurship. I mean, I think it's important to talk about because this whole video can kind of be looked at as auteurship since we're going through his whole career. I think that can be quite difficult. As someone making it, but you don't want to fall too much into sort of armchair psychology with what Arno thinks because you really don't know a lot of the time. So I feel that sometimes I have to kind of like, I'm going to be a little careful about how I word something. And maybe I haven't been the best the whole way through. God, this video is going to be like 3 hours long. It's hard to keep it all on top. I've tried to do my best. That's all I can really say. And sometimes maybe I'll play into it for like comedic factors. But yeah, I think this is an important message to have in the video, which is, auteurship is almost constructed a lot of times.
People. And you can kind of see that even within the rebuild, where there's more people than ever. But Anno will always go to Todoroki, his assistant, to sort of greenlight all his ideas. And that's because Todoroki is a pretty big fan of Anno himself, so he takes his word quite seriously. Tsurumaki has called it a deductive process in that he sort of decides what makes the most sense from what they put down already going forward, rather than having it actually all planned out to begin with. It depends on the definition
Again, this is probably to cover a cut, I'm
of
guessing.
authorship, but I don't really feel that that's the case. That's because in my situation, rather than having a firm blueprint on the outset and saying, as an author I want to depict this theme, I create while every day blindly trying to work out what I can do to make things interesting. I just have the responsibility of ultimately choosing, in accordance to what is possible, to complete on time. Now, during the rebuilds, he has more control than ever before, the scripts, the head direction, production, etc.
Yeah. Can I move any of this? Maybe this should actually go here or something. What about this part? What's this? Wait, this actually might fuck with everything.
The rebuilds, he has more control than ever before, the script, the head direct, before the scripts, the head direction, production, etc. More control than ever before, the script.
Maybe I should just move that slightly as well.
Control than ever before, the scripts, the head direction, production, etc. And while Anno rejects the auteur...
No, I think we just lost something there. Yeah, there's a frame missing. There we go.
And while Anno rejects the auteur position, Tsurumaki still believes that Anno's final choices do define...
Yeah, it's kind of interesting seeing the difference between these two perspectives. Tsurumaki's been working for Anno for so long, but the idea that he's like, yeah, Anno ultimately does decide what is considered Ava. I mean, in technical sense, he is correct, but I think he says there's almost like a special source of it where, like, Anno's final decision makes something Ava. Like, when he decides it is Ava, it becomes Ava.
What that means, I have no idea. But the whole picture should definitely be expanded. 2.0 does crazy numbers, doubling the box office of the last time, and does the kind of home release numbers which don't...
Maybe that other one should have a soundtrack too.
And does the kind of home release numbers which... And does the kind of home... And does the kind of... And does the kind of home release numbers which don't happen anymore. 800,000 pre-orders, 100,000 sales in the first week. Expansion is on the horizon for Kara. It's victories down the line, but Anno doesn't really seem too happy about it all.
And that's the final length, which makes it, we've lost like another 10 seconds it seems, probably in tightening. But yeah, I'm about to export that. I think that looks good to me. Don't know if I have much to say outside of what I have, besides it's been a pain in the ass to do this stuff. I'm going to go back to writing scripts again now. Finish 3.0 and everything. I'm going to have to finish everything before I start getting back to editing, I reckon. I think that's the best plan. Hopefully it all comes together. 3.0, the script is pretty close to done outside of the crunch area. Then it's the in-betweens, into Shin Godzilla, finally Shin Eva. We're very close to the end. Right, this shouldn't take too long. Okay, the heat right now is extreme. It's a bit much. I don't even know I'm going to stream later today. But the week has basically been involving me finishing and tightening Eva 1 and 2. In fact, I recorded the last update a little bit late because I had tried to record on Monday, and it didn't record. It was a bit of a nightmare. So I re-recorded it a couple of days after, but it was basically showing what I'd done that week, which was mostly about sort of editing 2.0, and finishing and tightening them was basically what I've done a little bit after that, sort of sorting that out. I wrote a little bit about the crunch section. I think that's okay. I cleared up 3.0. It probably needs another go through, but it's there. And then I talked about the Gynex situation, the lawsuit, and we're looking slowly now to get into the Toho to Shin Godzilla pipeline area. But yeah, it's been a difficult one for me attention-wise. Maybe it's because I'm getting project fatigue. Yeah, I think there's a level of project fatigue. It's just been going so long. I have these new ideas for like more loose, kind of faster videos. Probably shorter, but be quite, be able to get them out quick. Then a lot of camera work on them. One of them about DigiCarat, which we'll get into, sort of talking about the Moe and database stuff. Then licensed music in anime, which hopefully will be sponsored, because I don't know how I'm going to get through copyright on that one. And then DigiPaint, or early era of 2000s aesthetic. I'm not sure how I'm going to title that. It might just be the aesthetic of 2000s anime, or the aesthetic of early 2000s anime. But yeah, I have like rough ideas for all of those, and I think those scripts could come together quite smoothly if I get the right assets. But there was another thing that happened this week, and I was diagnosed with ADHD, which is something I expected to be there for quite some time, but now I have it on paper, and that was quite an exhausting process. I've been waiting a long time to get a diagnosis, and hopefully that means I can move to medication, which should help me be more consistent, because I found a lot of the struggle, especially which you've seen through the whole thing, is generally around tasks I don't feel as confident about, or tasks that are quite rudimentary. Like if I really struggle with writing or continuously focusing. Oh, the cat's here. So I'm hoping through medication that I can be a bit more consistent and get better life-work balance out of it. That's the hope. But the heat has not helped with the concentration. I've been struggling a lot. So okay. But yeah, I mean, the last thing I was doing yesterday was cleaning up sources. I'm just trying to, we went through a couple more bits of the story, and I fixed up Caricano, and I was getting into Ritual a bit last night as well. But I'm going to try and clean up a lot of those sources, because the document's getting a bit messy, because I'm going forward and I haven't adjusted all the sources quite as much as I should have. But I'm working on it. I'm working on it slowly to, most of it's been sourced, I guess. I'm trying to make it consistent the best I can. But yeah, I think that's kind of where we're going. I have been sort of looking at these other ideas and probably focusing on them a little bit more than maybe I should have. But I guess that's the difficulty when you're working on a project so long. Other things start becoming enticing, and you start thinking about new ideas, and that's more fresh and interesting. So, I've got 3 separate concepts that could become their own, and hopefully they won't take very long either, because I do have some other ideas on the back burner. Mononoke, I think I promised by looking at the thing, so I think Mononoke will be the next big video. Princess Mononoke, that is. But I've got these other smaller videos I might try out, and maybe I'll see if I can, on medication I might be able to find a better balance between doing some small videos here and there where I've got an idea, I mean, there's another one I'm thinking of. What might be a longer-winded one, but I think it'll be a looser video either way, which would be about cyberpunk anime, and we'll see how that goes. I had originally thought that maybe it would be worth doing for October when they release that new Trigger show, but I don't think I'm going to hit that deadline. I've got other things planned now, so I'm just we're getting close to the end now. I'm hoping in the next 2 weeks I can basically finish up the scripting. Maybe that's optimistic, but finish up the scripting for the final bits of the thing, and spend September. Well, I don't know. It really depends how easy it is for me to script the last bit, but there isn't much left. If 3.0 is basically done, then it's just 2 more or less. And hopefully, in the next 2 weeks, I can get pretty solid foundation for those. Because I think editing it probably won't be so bad. I know there's going to be some animation stuff at the end, and little bits and pieces here that might slow me down, but probably will be mostly sort of clip selection, so I think I can push through those in a couple of weeks. The majority of it, at least. Okay, we'll add up 2 weeks into one, I guess, because it's mainly been the same thing. It's kind of a frustration, you could say. Right, because I guess it was probably 2 weeks ago now, I was diagnosed with ADHD, something I've been thinking was a concern for a while, and it's definitely makes it harder for me to really get stuff done, especially lately. I've found the frustration and the sort of burnout, I guess. We've been going for a long time, and we're getting very tired of the project. We're so close to the end, but it's just becoming very difficult for me to write and do anything. I'm losing the will a little bit. And I'm waiting on medication. I'm hoping that will help. I don't know when that's going to come. No idea. But apparently soon. So maybe that will help me through. I mean, we have got some stuff together. Like a lot of the research for Shin Godzilla was done. So that's good, right? Most of that's all together. There's quite a bit, just 'cause it's quite a dense film. I started putting the script together. I was just struggling writing through things, especially around Fukushima and just little bits and pieces of certain scenes I wanted to talk about. It's been like difficult for me to write just because I feel them uncomfortable topics, or quite dense topics to sort of convey, and I haven't really been doing that very well. It's slowly coming together though, and I also organised some of the old sources. So yeah, the old sources, I think we're pretty together, or they should be up to 3.0 now, which is good. So they're it's coming together in order, as far as I can tell. So that is encouraging. Things are getting difficult, but I just want this done. I was hoping it'd be done by now, to be honest. I'm hoping in September will be the last time, but I was hoping I'd be a lot further than I am. That's the struggle with me. But again, when I get Medicare, I might be able to just power through just the rest of it, because there's so little left. Just small little pieces left now. That's it. And I guess we're in the end game of it. It's just I'm hoping next week the Shin Godzilla stuff will be sorted, and I can move into the new final Ava and just get everything together at the end and just be done with it. Just at least finish writing this stuff as fast as possible. And we have a new desk, which is really useful. I got it because it's a standing desk as well, so I was hoping that would help with drawing and even productivity, having a level of productivity. I thought it would help me be in the zone a bit more. It's just I'm not quite used to standing desks or stuff. It's quite exhausting, in a way, just because I messed my knees up probably last year, and slow recovery. They're mostly together, but yeah, they do. I mean, they were in pain. I was in pain last night. Weak pain, but I woke up in the night and it was sort of keeping me up a little bit. Just there, it's like an annoyance, distraction. Probably because I was out the yesterday. Went to a convention, so I was walking around and standing for quite a bit, and I think that was a bit much for them. A lot of movement, a lot of traction. So I think but I think I'm feeling alright today. I might go for a little walk later. I'm trying to slowly strengthen them back up, and I think being more active is going to help me in general. Just with everything. But yeah, the new desk is going to be hopefully good for work. I'm hoping to get a new bookshelf as well. You'll see in the video a lot, right? But the bookshelf is it's too small. There's not enough space on it. I probably need to get 2 units and work with that, just because it's not enough.
It's not enough for all the stuff I have. It just floods everywhere. Like it's all you can probably even see it. It's in the shot. Yeah, I mean you probably see it behind me, and on the desk. Like, everything just floods out everywhere, and that's not great. It's making me easier to lose things and less good for productivity. It makes everything feel very messy for me because I've got nowhere to put it. Don't know what to do with it. That's the case. But yeah, I don't know much more I have to say besides we're getting there. We're getting there slowly. I've concocted a couple of things visually, thinking wise. But I don't know if it's going to be too wild. I don't know if 3.0 is going to be a very wild. There's like one sequence that's pretty interesting there. I don't think Shin Godzilla is going to have too many crazy visuals. There might be some drawing needed just for story time. I'll see. Went into a bit of Shinji Higuchi sort of story with Anno, and we'll see how that goes. And then I know there's going to be a final animation sequence, a final proper animation sequence in the Shin section, the Shin Ava section. So yeah, it just depends how long these things, how big they become. That's the struggle. I mean, the whole final video is probably going to be like 3 hours long, so we'll see how that goes. I also don't want to rush it. I feel like I could probably do an Ultraman video later if I really wanted to. If this video does very well, I could do a follow-up Anno, talk about Shin Ultraman when it has a full proper release, and I can get into all the details in the same way and just finish that up with talking about Higuchi. And just, yeah, I'll probably center it around Higuchi a bit more maybe, and just go through all the interviews and do my best with that. I think Arnold did the previs again, just like a prior, so there's stuff to talk about. I think people have already, and hopefully by the time it's fully out, we'll have a lot more context to the whole affair. I can only go on what I've got. Yeah, I've been writing the Godzilla part and some of the sections before on paper, and I've just been trying to keep it together because there was a lot of sections in between I had to write up in terms of just the stuff happened in between 3.0 and this film. So the Tokusatsu Museum, the suing event, so, the lawsuit between them and Gainax, the sort of in between moments of depression, just that was all needed to be mentioned in some way. But yeah, I'm hoping it all comes together, and I'm very much looking forward to something a lot lighter. I think it'll be a while before I do another big project. I could see doing maybe Oshi in the future, but probably as separate videos. I think I would be doing it as chunks. I wanted specifically this video to be a long Anno video. I want it to be set like that, and I could probably turn the Oshi video into one big video at the end. But it might take me years to do Oshi's entire career. He's been working in the industry for so long. So splitting it up into sections and making them almost a little bit more self-contained, I think could mean I could like spread it out a bit easier and do some things in between, and not be so like dedicated to the project. Just because I guess after working on something for what is now 9 months, I think I'm getting very close to that date next week. Yeah, it's a little frustrating.